So that's what we're going to talk about today, Todd, on the 3-pack. I did an hour-long training last week with my team on this, and I got about 10 minutes. So, but that is the biggest objection right now. Is interest rates are high and they're going up, and we're stuck at this. Everybody remembers the 2.75%. And sometimes it's hard to move the needle. So I want to go through some of the things some of the conversations that I'm having with people to help overcome this. I don't want to get into the game because of interest rates. So first question I always ask people, do you like money? If you like money, do not let interest rates get in the way, because it's all about making money. Follow the money. So here's what we know. The historic average interest rate is 6.75%. Okay. So we're winning. Our interest rates are still low. So it's a matter of perspective. Yes, they're higher than the 2.75, but when you take a look at the historic average, they're still low. Homes are expected to appreciate at least 8% this year. So this concept of home, going to Matt's point, the concept of home prices going down is, especially here in Arizona. I always ask people when they say that, just let me know where you're getting your information from, because I want to read that, because I'm not reading anything. And then homes are expected to appreciate between 2 and 5% over the following several years. Rates are still low. We know that. Rates are expected to go up several times this year, so take advantage now. Inflation is outpacing interest rates,
Good point.
which is a great point. And then the one thing that I have up that I don't have up there is, at some point, interest rates will go back down. So get in the game, and maybe down the road, several years, it'll be time to refinance. Don't just leave money on the table because you're focused on a number.
Right.
Yeah, and I think it's real important, Mike. Last week we even talked about the fact that, have a conversation with people you might have just sold, or maybe you didn't even sell. It doesn't have to be about primary residence. It could just be about investment property. It could be helping them build their future. Last week we talked about a real estate being the average blue collar worker's 401k.
We're going to get into that.
Okay, then let's go to number 2.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, so I like to have conversations about credit card debt. Most buyers that I know of and that I work with, they have credit card debt. Just about every buyer has credit card debt. And most are paying above 10% in interest rate. Most of them are anywhere from 15 to 20%. Most are paying annual fees, and they're okay with credit card debt, but I have yet to buy an appreciating asset using credit card debt. Everything that's on my credit cards is a depreciating asset, and rates for appreciating and rates for an appreciating asset, such as a home. Yes, 5.75% interest rate, whatever it is right now, is a lot lower than what your credit card interest rate is. And if you're okay with carrying credit card debt at a 15 to 18 to a 20% interest rate, and you're not buying anything that's making you money, it's time to refocus and look through things through a different prism.
Yeah, credit cards and student loans and autos, new cars, boats, RVs, all these things are things that, sure, they're fun every weekend, but they really play a big issue in your ability to qualify for purchasing a home. And so, again, it's one of those things that, people, when the market tanked, everybody, and this is historical. If you look back at the last 3 trade cycles, the 80s, the 90s, and today, or even 2006, and then today, last 4, what you're going to find is people, when the market becomes depressed, their credit card debt increases because they go buy things to make themselves feel good in a bad market. And so we get that. And sometimes that's cars, sometimes that's boats. Well, this past year, when everybody got last year, when they got their stimulus check. Thank you. What ended up happening is they all went out and bought RVs. That's why it's hard to find one. They bought side-by-sides. They bought all these toys. Well, that $3,000 was a nice down payment, Mike, but it didn't cover the $36,000 price range for the product. So, so credit card debt is something that is always a cycle. But to your point, it's the worst thing you can do if you're trying to prepare yourself for the future.
So then if you're okay with an 18% interest rate on a credit card, why are you not okay with a still record low interest rate on an appreciating asset?
We're right.
And that's the question that I'm asking these people.
Yeah, buy an investment property, to your point, and if it's at 5%, you're going to get at least 10% per year right now for rents.
All right, and then the third one is, again, do you like money? We refer to it on our team as the real estate 401k plan, not sanctioned by the SEC, but not only with buying a property, what you're really doing, and this is the thing that we teach all of our clients, is you're building your own retirement plan. And so the moment, you have to live somewhere.
Right.
At the end of the day, you have to live somewhere. So you're either
renting,
you're either buying, or you're living in your parents' basement and hoping that they kill over and that you take over the house, which is not a bad plan. That's what my kids are doing. They're living in the basement right now of my home. But, each month, again, even though your interest rate's higher, each month you're buying down your principal, and I refer to it as a forced savings account. If I get a $500,000 loan today, I live in that house for 30 years. Okay, in 30 years' time, now I've got I got an almost liquid asset. That's $500,000 that I would have either invested in somebody else's real estate 401k program, but now I'm buying down my principal. So if you're renting, then I have that conversation after I have a talk with people about the real estate 401k plan. If you're renting, now you're just investing in someone else's real estate 401k plan. It doesn't matter about the number in front of the percentage sign. What really matters is, do you like money and do you want to make money? And I always teach our clients is you make money by owning a home 4 ways. That house will go up in value. It's called appreciation. Number 2, again, we talked about paying down your principal, that forced savings account. Number 3, tax write-offs. And hey, I tell people, interest rates are up. Great news. You know what that means? There's more to write off, right? It's a matter it's a matter of perspective. And then if you do move and you hang on to your home and turn it into a rental, which we encourage all of our sellers to do, you realize positive cash flow. So you take a look at all the ways that we make money on a piece of real estate. If you like money, do not pay attention. It doesn't matter what the interest rate is. What matters is, are you making money and are you building a retirement plan through real estate?
Absolutely. So, the thing about the with rent, say, for instance, if you're buying your own property, be aware, if you're a single person, of the $250,000 capital gains tax incentive. And if you're married, then the $500,000 capital gains incentive. So in other words, over the last 2 years, we've watched properties, Toll Brothers specifically, one of the builders, that was selling properties in the Phoenix Metro for about $575,000. You were finishing about $7. Those properties are now worth $1.2 million. There's $500,000 in equity there that you've received over the last 2 years. I don't know what kind of job you have, but I got to imagine you don't have something where you can collect $250,000 worth of tax-free money per year. So, this buying a home is a significantly incredible investment opportunity. You get depreciation you can write off as one of the write-offs on the home, which helps you down the road. But at the same particular point, where else can you go? If you buy a house and you let somebody rent it from you, they're going to pay you about 10% of the value of that property per year in rent. I mean, if it's costing you 5 or 6%, sure, you're going to pay a little bit of tax on that income. But so I recommend you stay in your house. When you watch your equity get to about $250,000 if you're a single person, or $500,000 if you're married, you might want to consider it's time to move up. Yeah. So it might be time to make that change, because you're going to have a better opportunity for greater appreciation once you get out of that stale community and move over into a community that's neighboring properties that are booming in price.
Yeah, and so I know, if I invest money into my retirement account, I got to cut a check, and every year I do. I still like to diversify, and I cut a check to my wealth manager, and I've got a SEPT. It might have a Roth IRA, you might have a regular 401k, whatever the case is. For me to invest, I've got to cut a check. Okay, for me to buy a piece of real estate, again, I have to live somewhere. So now I'm taking what I would pay in rent, and I'm now investing into a retirement account. And again, then if you have a renter in there, it's one of the only things. You have somebody else building into your savings account and building into your retirement.
Somebody
and
else is paying your mortgage.
So it doesn't matter. If I'm going to make this kind of return, I'll pay 10% if I have to.
Absolutely.
Because it's still far cheaper than what my credit card rate is. So,
and if you do biweekly payments and put a little extra money towards principal, you pay it off in 21 or maybe even 18 years.
Yep. All right.
Did you have anything you wanted to
Well, the average renter, and I put this stat out a while ago, has a negative net worth. Like negative $6,000 net worth for an average renter. The average homeowner has over a $300,000 net worth. I mean, that's proof enough. Like, why would you ever pay money for rent?
Yep.
Cool. Nice segment, Mike.
All right. Appreciate it. All right. Thanks, Matt.